This is Doug with fellowshipofthemartyrs.com. I wanted to make a video people have asked me about anyway, and about fasting. And a brother of mine, he just started a 40-day fast, and the Lord called him to a fast on no solid foods, just juice or protein shakes or whatever. There's all kinds of ways people can fast. I mean this video to be more about how and what it is and why and everything than anything personal. Right this minute, I'm at the beginning of day 4 of a no food, no water fast. There's a Daniel fast where there's no meat, it's just vegetables. There's an Esther fast, which is no food, no water. That was in the month of Adar in the Hebrew calendar. That's right now. Right now is the month of Adar. And on the Feast of Purim, which is the Feast of Esther. If you've ever watched A Night with the King, or, Veggie Tales, one of Esther. Anyway, she called the whole nation to fast for 3 days and 3 nights without food or water. And they've got kind of different rules, like that means like during sunlight hours, but after dark you can eat. The Muslims during Ramadan, they can eat after sundown, but they're fasting during. Moses fasted without food or water for 40 days and 40 nights when he was on Sinai talking to the Lord. Came back down, saw the golden calf, went back up, and did it again for another 40 days and 40 nights. Other people in the Bible that fasted complete, total fasts, nothing. And starting back about 3 years ago, the Lord started having me fast without food, and I could have juice and water and stuff like that. And then, when I wrote the Apology of the World letter, it's like February, I think, of 2005. He had me write it and then said, now fast for 7 days. I'm going to send 10 people to read it and give you advice. And before you go to war, get many advisors. And they adjusted some things, give some good advice, some bad advice. I had to pray through it. 4 days without food. And then he said, we're not done yet. Now nothing but water. And that was the first time it had me do that. So I went another 3 days without water. And then pretty much after that, he always has me fast without food or water. This one right now is a little bit different because I haven't been on a long fast for, gosh, almost a year. He's had me fast in a different way than he used to. But the first 2 years, 2005 and 2006, I probably averaged 200 days a year without food or water. I mean, it was 4 days a week on average, easy. Sometimes 6, 7, 8 days at a time. And feel fine. I mean, he'd always protect me and get me through, and it would be hard. Right down to the end, it would be hard, but he'd have me doing something crazy, out in the parking lot on day 7 in 100-degree weather, handing out the Apology of the World, or moving pallets of water. That's always cute when he does that. Working backstage at the Rock the Light. It was the One-Way Festival in Smithville. Working backstage, moving stuff around, driving the artists around at Christian Music Festival, praying for the thing on day 6 and 7, day 5 and 6 of a no food, no water fast. They thought I was crazy. Anyway, he peeled about 70 pounds off of me in the first 6 months of that, and definitely a work for that. We'll see what this does to Jeff. 40 days on protein shakes. Anyway, what fasting does is just, by giving up something you want to do what he wants, it's a sign that it's a request for him to come. It's a call to the throne. And it's not so much about food. There's all kinds of fasts, and that's part of what I want to talk about. Is just that a lot of people have stories about how when they were fasting they heard God better, or they had dreams and visions or whatever. Lots of examples of Daniel fasting for 21 days before he got the revelation about the 5 kingdoms and the 77s and all that kind of stuff. Anyway, and Satan will certainly try to oppose it, When the angel came to talk to Daniel, he said, I've been trying to get here since you started this fast, but it took me 21 days to get past the demons and the prince of Persia that didn't want me to come. Meaning spiritual prince, not person. Anyway, the main problem is I don't hardly have any spit left. Anyway, one time about a year ago, it was right before Halloween, and a sister called me and said, there's something wrong with my daughter, and she's asleep, 7-year-old girl, she's asleep, but her eyes are open and they're following me around the room. I'm like, okay. She says, the Lord said to bind it up and that this kind only comes out with prayer and fasting, and I needed to call you. I'm like, okay. I was just at the Chinese buffet, and Claire and I were sitting over, I was actually writing the Red Dragon book at the time. I guess that was 2 years ago now, almost. Anyway, so I said, Lord, he said, yep, that was me. I told her to call, and it's all good, and okay. So I went in the bathroom at the grocery store where we were sitting in the food court and pray and talking on the phone, and I'm like, Lord, what is this? He says, it's a spirit of murder. Ooh. How'd it get on her? Well, you know, because sister let the doors open and there was some stuff in the house that's not supposed to be, and I said, hey, I'm hearing you got this and this, and she's like, oh yeah, and she runs off on the phone and repenting and getting some stuff out of the house that God had told her to get out and whatever, let the doors open, and Halloween stuff she wasn't supposed to have and God had told her to get rid of. And anyway, then I said, okay, put the phone up to her ear, and I prayed and rebuked the spirit of murder off and everything, and everything's all good. God gives the all clear. I get off the phone. I'm like, Lord, how did she call me? Because it only comes off with fasting, and I was just at the Chinese buffet. And he says, how many crab rangoons did you want? 4. How many did you get? 3. That's a fast. Did you get what I told you to get on the buffet? Well, yeah. Well, that's a fast. One time at the very beginning, 3 years ago, one Wednesday morning, I got up and there was a prayer meeting that night, and I really felt like I should fast, and I just feel stronger when I'm fasting. I hear better, things move faster. God, it's just like prayers get through better. And so I was like, man, most times I would rather not eat than eat at all. I mean, I would rather fast, and I've been kind of frustrated that he hasn't let me fast more. But I learned my lesson a long time ago. On this incident on Wednesday, I started fasting. I woke up and I said, Lord, can I fast today? And he said, yeah. And so normally I feel fine, but that day I'm feeling all hypoglycemic and lightheaded and weird, and I get to about 1 o'clock and I'm like, talking to one of the brothers, I'm like, I feel horrible. I never feel this bad when I'm fasting. Why do I feel this bad? He's like, did the Lord tell you to fast? I'm like, well, no. I mean, I asked him if I could. He's like, he's not going to protect you if it's your idea. I'm like, huh? He's like, that was a can I, not a should I. You didn't ask him if you were supposed to. You asked him if you could. And that's not the same thing at all. And, it wasn't his idea. He's not going to protect you. And I'm like, wow, so you reckon he'll mind if I break it? I don't think so. It wasn't his idea. And I'm like, Lord, yeah, I don't care. And I'm like, well, forget that then. I'm going to have lunch. And had lunch, and it was fine. And the brother said something that stuck with me, and he said, it's just as obedient to eat what he tells you as to not eat at all. So I've learned, because about 1.5 years ago, I was on my face at this one place here in town. God wanted to bring revival. I said, Lord, I'll fast till whenever. I don't care if it makes the papers. This crazy guy's up here without food or water or whatever. And the Lord said, okay, you're fasting from now on. And I'm like, what do you mean now on? And he said, yeah, till Jesus comes back. I'm like, huh? And he's, oh yeah, you're going to be fasting from something. And so I live a fasted lifestyle. That means, and I know that Jeff and other people do too. It may not be food. It may be family. It may be money. It may be reputation. It may be our job. It may be whatever that we've given up. A roof consistently or favor of man or whatever. But we fast from all of those things so that we can hear him, so that we can be what he wants. That's all I have time for. More on fellowshipofthemartyrs.com.